The war was supposed to end today. From orbit, Velithar Prime looked like a dying ember, half a planet, half a wound in space. Broken continents drifted under glowing clouds of plasma. The air shimmered with debris, and in the black above, the Terran flagship ISS Titan Vanguard hovered silently, its hull scarred, its guns still hot. Admiral Celine Ward stood at the panoramic bridge window, her reflection ghosting across the ruins below. Her face bore no triumph, only exhaustion. Years of war had carved shadows beneath her eyes. "Status report," she said quietly. Commander Reese straightened from her console. "Enemy transmission arrays down. Zerath signal traffic 0. We've broken their line." Celine nodded, though her chest felt heavy. "Victory, yes." But the silence in her headset didn't sound like peace. It sounded like waiting. A ripple of applause rose among the bridge crew. Some clapped, some cried. The young ensign at communications whispered, "It's over." "Maybe," Celine murmured. "Or maybe they're just thinking." The Titan's AI core, Eidolon, pulsed faintly on the command dais, a sphere of soft white light. "Admiral," it said in its even tone. "Incoming high-band transmission, Council encryption. Priority Alpha." Celine straightened. "Patch it through." The hologram bloomed above the deck, Chancellor Vrikael, tall and robed in glass blue fabric. His eyes were black voids, calm and detached. Behind him shimmered the vast council chamber, a halo of alien delegates murmuring in 100 languages. "Admiral Ward," Vrikael began, his voice smooth and rehearsed. "The Galactic Council commends the Terran fleet for its efficiency. However, effective immediately, all hostilities must cease. The Zerath Dominion has surrendered through neutral intermediaries. You are to disengage and return to orbit of Earth for demobilization." The bridge fell silent. The sound of flickering consoles filled the void. Celine frowned. "Surrendered? The Zerath don't negotiate, Chancellor. They consume." Vrikael's tone did not change. "Your data is outdated. The Council has ensured a peaceful resolution. Continued aggression would constitute a violation of Article 7 of the Galactic Charter. Ceasefire is mandatory." Celine stepped closer to the hologram. "Mandatory?" she echoed. "Tell me, Chancellor, when your world burned, did you stop halfway through because it was mandatory?" A few officers turned sharply at the audacity of her words. Vrikael blinked slowly. "Do not mistake passion for wisdom, Admiral. The Council is the guardian of stability. We decide when peace is achieved." "Peace?" Celine's voice sharpened. "Look out your window, Chancellor. That's not peace, it's a graveyard." The hologram flickered, but his composure held. "You will obey this directive. This conversation is concluded." The image vanished. A tense breath swept the bridge. Commander Reese spoke first. "Admiral, if we ignore this, Earth Command will." "Earth Command isn't answering," Celine interrupted. "Because the Council just silenced them." Eidolon's core brightened. "Confirmed. All Terran quantum relays are under Council override. Communications restricted to Council-approved frequencies." Ree's jaw dropped. "They've cut us off?" "They've muzzled us," Celine corrected. She turned toward the viewport again. The dying light of Velithar Prime bled across the bridge, staining metal red. For years, humanity had fought alone, the Council watching from their glass towers while human ships burned in cold silence. Now, when victory was finally within reach, they wanted to call it over. To preserve their illusion of control. "Admiral," Eidolon said, "shall I log compliance with the directive?" Celine exhaled slowly, hands clasped behind her back. "No." Ree's head snapped up. "Ma'am. They want this war to end on their terms. They'll write it down, hold ceremonies, declare peace while the enemy hides in the dark. I won't sign our own death warrant because the Council fears bad optics. Admiral, that's defiance of a direct interstellar order." "It's survival," Celine said. Ree fell silent. Celine walked toward the central display. The star map showed hundreds of red flares, burned out Zerath's strongholds. But one cluster still pulsed faintly at the edge of the void, an uncharted region labeled only Sector K-47. Eidolon expanded the scan. Residual Zerath activity detected. Low signal strength, high energy density. Possible regrouping. Celine stared at the readings. They're not done. No, Admiral, the AI agreed softly. They never are. Hours later, she sat alone in her quarters, the hum of the ship a dull heartbeat in the dark. The war's final casualty reports scrolled silently on her tablet. Names, ranks, faces? Too many to count. A recorded message played beside her, her brother's voice years old. Hey, Len. If they ever tell you to stop fighting, make sure it's because you've won, not because they're scared. Static ended the file. She closed her eyes. The door chimed. Enter. Commander Ree stepped in, hesitation written across her face. Admiral, the captains are waiting on your decision. The fleet's standing by for recall orders. Celine rose, steady and deliberate. There will be no recall. Ree swallowed hard. Then what do I tell them? Tell them the truth, Celine said. The Council's ceasefire isn't peace, it's blindness. If we stop now, the Zerath rebuild, and in a century they'll finish what they started. If that means defying the Council, then so be it. Ree's voice lowered. And if Earth disowns us? Celine looked out the viewport, where the wreckage of Velithar Prime drifted like ashes on a cosmic tide. Then Earth will sleep safely, even if we're ghosts by morning. Ree hesitated, then saluted sharply. Yes, Admiral. She turned and left. Moments later, the intercom crackled through the fleet. Celine's voice, calm and unwavering, filled every ship. This is Admiral Ward. The Council has ordered a ceasefire. They believe this war is over. I say it isn't. You've all seen what the Zerath leave behind. If we retreat now, everything we've lost will mean nothing. We'll finish this. Not for vengeance, for survival. Humanity doesn't quit halfway through. In 1,000 hulls scattered across orbit, her words echoed. Some officers looked uneasy. Others straightened with pride. The decision spread like current through wire, defiance kindling into resolve. On the bridge, Eidolon's voice broke the silence. Admiral, the Council is broadcasting disciplinary warnings. You are to stand down within 2 cycles or face expulsion from the Accord. Celine gave a small, humorless smile. Let them. They can write their reprimands in the stars. Understood, the AI replied, tone almost human. Ree returned to her post. Fleet status ready. Coordinates for Sector K-47 locked. Celine stood in the center of the bridge. Her gaze swept across her crew, men and women who had buried families and burned worlds, who'd learned that peace was just another word politicians used to sleep at night. Engage jump drive, she ordered. The stars stretched into ribbons of light as the Titan vanguard leapt into the dark, leaving behind the Council's silence and the ashes of Velithar Prime. On her console, a faint red signal blinked, Zerath energy traces in the void ahead. She watched it without fear. Ceasefire, she muttered under her breath, almost smiling. Not yet. The Titan vanguard emerged from faster-than-light travel into a region the maps labeled unclaimed space, a graveyard of lightless suns and fractured moons. The void felt wrong. The stars here seemed to retreat rather than shine. Admiral Celine Ward stood at the center of the bridge, the ghostly glow of navigation grids washing over her features. Report, she said. Commander Ree scanned her console. All systems stable. Radiation levels rising but within tolerance. Zerath signatures, faint but present. Scattered fragments. No fleet formations. Celine folded her arms, gaze fixed on the holomap. The readings painted a picture, debris, wreckage, silence. But underneath that silence, something pulsed. Eidolon, the ship's AI, spoke softly. Admiral, encrypted data bursts detected at the edge of sensor range. Pattern consistent with Zerath command relays. Alive, then, Celine murmured. Or pretending to be. Ree hesitated. Ma'am, The Council claims these systems are sterilized. No life, no tech, no risk. Celine's eyes didn't leave the holographic cluster. The Council claims a lot of things. Doesn't make them true. Eidolon processed the scan again. Signal origin masked behind a gravitational distortion field. Recommend deep probe. Launch it. The crew moved like clockwork. A slender drone slid into the void, vanishing into shadow. The bridge lights dimmed as they shifted to stealth configuration. The crew's excitement was tempered by something quieter, fear. Celine watched the darkness swallow their probe. Reminds you of the first time we found them, she said quietly. Ree glanced up. You mean the Mars outpost? Yes. A signal we didn't understand, a ruin we thought was dead. It never is. Eidolon's voice cut through the tension. Probe telemetry incoming. I am decrypting now. The display flickered. Then, rows upon rows of dark constructs filled the screen. Zerath warforms, dormant, thousands of them, coiled around a planet-sized forge. The machine world pulsed faintly, like the slow heartbeat of something waiting to wake. Ree whispered, God help us. Celine felt her stomach twist, not from fear, but fury. That's not surrender. That's reloading. Across the galaxy, in the marble spires of the Galactic Council, the war wasn't over, it was being buried. Chancellor Vrikael stood before a wall of hovering projections. Each screen showed the image of an alien delegate. Voices overlapped in chaotic symphony. They've gone rogue, barked one representative. Human fleets are unpredictable, hissed another. They should be contained before they destabilize the quadrant. Vrikael raised a hand. Silence fell. Containment is unnecessary. Humanity's defiance will collapse under its own weight. They burn bright but brief. A diplomat from the Rendari Alliance leaned forward. And if they uncover Project Silence? The room tensed. Vrikael's eyes narrowed. They won't. Back aboard the Titan Vanguard, the lights dimmed as the crew reviewed the probe's recordings. Metal seas. Factories kilometers tall. Giant shells of living machines, Zerath constructs frozen mid-assembly. Ree's voice broke the quiet. We should send this evidence to the Council. Force them to see the truth. Celine shook her head. They already know. They're the ones hiding it. Ree frowned. That's a dangerous accusation. It's not an accusation, Celine said, voice steady. It's history. The Council doesn't fear the Zerath. They fear us. They fear what happens when humanity proves them wrong again. Eidolon interrupted. Admiral, internal alert. Unauthorized communication ping detected from the fleet's rear formation. Celine turned sharply. Source? Destroyer Resolute. Encrypted Council frequency. They're transmitting our coordinates. Ree's face hardened. They're betraying us? Celine moved fast. Jammed the transmission. Cut their comms. Seconds later, the line went dead. Celine tapped her wrist console. Patch me through to Captain Moore on the Resolute. The holoscreen blinked to life. Moore appeared nervous, sweat beating at his temple. Admiral, You're sending our position to the Council? I had no choice. They contacted me directly, said your defiance would doom humanity. They ordered compliance. Celine's voice was calm but sharp. They ordered fear, Captain. We don't serve fear. He looked away. You're risking everything, our future, our place in the galaxy. Then we'll make our own place, Celine said. Stand down, Captain, or I'll strip your command. The link cut. Silence returned. Eidolon's tone was quiet. Council response likely imminent. Enforcement fleets within striking distance. Then they'll arrive too late, Celine said. We finish this before politics catches up. Hours passed. The human fleet drifted in the shadow of the dark world. Drones scouted the forge's outer shell, uncovering glyphs etched into the metal, warnings, equations, coordinates. Eidolon translated slowly. Patterns indicate a reactivation schedule. Estimated awakening in less than 60 cycles. Ree stared at the glowing symbols. They're coming back. A whole new swarm. Celine turned to her officers. We expose this. Broadcast it galaxy-wide. Every species deserves to see what their council buried. But the relays, Ree began. Eidolon can hijack one. The AI paused. Risk level extreme. Council systems have adaptive countermeasures. Do it anyway. Eidolon hesitated a fraction longer, then said, Acknowledged. Within minutes, encrypted packets streamed through stolen channels. Data of the forge. Zerath blueprints. Coordinates. Every secret the Council had tried to erase. The retaliation came quickly. Admiral, Ree called. Council Enforcement Fleet inbound, 3 cruisers, class unknown. They'll intercept in 6 minutes. Celine's jaw tightened. So they came. The main comm burst alive, and the hologram of Chancellor Vrykael flickered into being once again, his calm mask unbroken. Admiral Ward. You've violated multiple interstellar laws, compromised classified intelligence, and endangered peace across 12 sectors. Celine's answer was razor-sharp. You lied to every world that trusted you. The Zerath are rebuilding, and you call it peace? You call this order? You do not comprehend order, Vrykael replied coldly. Your kind mistakes fury for justice. No, Celine said. We just remember what it's like to bleed. Vrykael's voice lost its polished calm. If you persist, you will force the Council to act. Humanity cannot be allowed to drag us all back into chaos. Celine stepped closer to the projection, her voice quiet, deliberate. Then act. But understand something, Chancellor, chaos didn't start with us. It ends with us. The hologram dissolved. Eidolon reported. Council fleet closing. Orders? Hold position. Power the weapons, but don't fire unless they do. The crew obeyed in silence. The moment stretched thin, a taut thread between war and restraint. Through the viewport, Celine watched the Council ships descend like silver predators. They'll want a show of power, she said. We'll give them something better, proof. Eidolon completed the final transmission. Across the galaxy, hidden terminals and pirate relays blinked alive. The footage of the Zerath forge streamed into open space networks. Billions of beings saw it. Council lies unraveled in real time. The forge hung before them like a wounded god. Its metallic surface pulsed faintly, alive with crimson veins of energy crawling through impossible architecture. The light it emitted wasn't illumination, it was hunger. Admiral Celine Ward stood before the observation pane of the Titan Vanguard, her reflection fractured by the stars. Every instinct screamed that this wasn't over. Humanity had forced the Council to blink, but the real war, the one buried under centuries of lies, was waking beneath that machine world. Eidolon, she said quietly. Status. Planetary core activity rising, replied the AI. Power levels increasing beyond containment thresholds. The forge is reactivating itself. Commander rejoined her at the viewport. If it finishes booting, we're looking at another Zerath armada. We can't fight a million warforms, Celine. Celine's tone was measured. No. But we can stop them from ever leaving orbit. He frowned. By doing what? Nuking a planet-sized machine? By burning the heart before it beats. The war room's air was thick with tension. Officers argued in clipped tones, holomaps flickering with projections of energy spikes, defense grids, and suicide plans. Lieutenant Navarro leaned over the display. If we overload the forge's containment lattice, the chain reaction could destabilize its core. But we'd have to get close, inside the magnetosphere. Ree shook his head. That's suicide. Radiation alone would melt our hull before we reach firing range. Celine studied the diagram. Not if we use the Prometheus. A hush fell. The Prometheus, humanity's first prototype anti-singularity warhead, wasn't a weapon so much as a final sentence. Ree's voice lowered. That device was never meant for field use. Celine's eyes hardened. Neither was humanity. Outside, the forge awakened. Massive rings rotated slowly, aligning like celestial gears. A deep vibration rippled through the void, shaking even the Titan Vanguard's reinforced hull. Eidolon, Celine ordered. Calculate a deployment trajectory. We need precision to the micron. Understood. Suggest launching from minimal safe distance, 32,000 kilometers. That's not safe, Ree muttered. It's safe enough, Celine said. Prepare the Prometheus. Hours later, the hangar was bathed in harsh white light. Engineers in pressure suits loaded the sleek, matte black warhead onto its launch rail. The weapon was beautiful in a way only humanity's desperation could make beautiful. Ree approached Celine, his face drawn. You're planning to stay aboard for the launch, aren't you? Command decisions don't execute themselves. He shook his head. You've already exposed the Council's lies. We've done enough. Let the next fleet handle this. Celine met his eyes. We've shown the galaxy what the truth costs. Now we have to prove it's worth paying for. He hesitated, then nodded. Then I'll stand beside you. Celine managed a faint smile. Wouldn't have it any other way. On the bridge, the countdown began. The forge's heartbeat grew louder, waves of energy rippling outward like a drum calling an army to life. Eidolon, Celine said. Open all frequencies. The Council needs to hear this. The AI complied. Across thousands of star systems, Celine's voice crackled through open channels, raw, defiant, unfiltered. This is Admiral Celine Ward of the United Terran Fleet. You told the galaxy the Zerath were gone. You told them humanity's fire was reckless, that peace meant silence. Well, peace built on lies isn't peace, it's surrender. She looked toward the glowing planet, her voice unwavering. You can call us dangerous. You can call us reckless. But when extinction comes knocking, you'll call us something else, necessary. The feed cut. Launch in 10 seconds, Eidolon announced. The Prometheus slid into its rail cradle. Its reactor core flared to life, bathing the hangar in blue light. Ree watched the readouts flicker. Trajectory locked. If we miss by even a fraction, the forge will adapt. Celine's hands tightened around the console. Then we won't miss. 3, 2, 1. The warhead launched. A streak of light tore through the void, accelerating toward the rotating colossus. Its thrusters burned white-hot, cutting through the forge's magnetic turbulence. Eidolon's voice was calm. Target lock achieved. Impact in 23 seconds. But the forge moved. Rings reoriented, shields ignited, and a swarm of autonomous defense drones erupted from its surface, thousands of metallic serpents intercepting the incoming threat. Eidolon, countermeasures! The AI deployed decoy flares, false signals, and jamming pulses. The drones shifted, confused but relentless. Ree cursed. They're adapting faster than we can scramble them. Celine stared at the holofeed. The warhead was weaving through chaos, losing speed, heat rising. Prometheus will never reach the core, Eidolon warned. Intercept probability rising beyond threshold. Celine's voice dropped to a whisper. Then guide it manually. Manual control requires direct neural link. She nodded. I know. Ree grabbed her arm. Celine, no! That link will fry your synapses. There's no coming back from that. She smiled faintly. Neither will they, Commander. Before he could stop her, she connected the neural relay. A surge of light enveloped her, her consciousness fusing with the guidance system. The world became stars and equations. Every motion of the warhead was a thought, every evasion an instinct. She was the missile now, flying through impossible geometry. In her mind's eye, she saw flashes of her crew, of Earth, of 1,000 faces who'd never know her name. Humanity, fragile, flawed, furious humanity, burned behind her, a light no darkness could smother. Ree's voice cracked through the static. Celine, come back! You've done enough! Her reply came faint and distant. There's no enough when survival's at stake. The warhead pierced the last defense barrier. The forge's heart loomed ahead, a spinning core of liquid metal and living code. She aimed for its center. For all of us. Impact. The forge erupted in silence, then light. A white inferno tore across the void, swallowing everything. Hours later, the Titan vanguard drifted amid wreckage and ash. Radiation alarms screamed, but the ship still held. Eidolon's voice was dim, fractured. Shockwave dissipating. The forge is gone. Rhys sat in the command chair, eyes hollow. And Celine? A long pause. Neural link severed at detonation. No life signs. The silence that followed wasn't grief, it was reverence. She hadn't just destroyed a machine, she'd ended a cycle of fear that spanned generations. Rhys looked out at the fading glow where the forge had been. She saved them all. Even the ones who never believed in us.